Umamusume Pretty Derby is a multimedia franchise that includes the main source material, a gacha simulator game, several animes, and a manga. Published by Games and released on the 24th of February 2021, this game has recently sparked a large fan base in 2025, and I was one that was also drawn to these umas. Hi, my name is Connor, and let's scientifically look at As we can tell through anatomical analysis, umas are definitely related to hominids, specifically Homo sapiens, Homo herbergialensis, and Homo neanderthalensis, roughly giving us a time frame of 1 million years or 600,000 years to figure out how umas adapted to their niche. Humans are known for their adaptations for persistent hunting. These adaptations include a large amount of slow twitch muscle fibers allowing for energy efficient running over a vast distance, a large amount of excrete glands, sweat glands, and bare skin allowing them to cool off while running, and their biomechanics allow for long distance running. This hunting method involved chasing down prey over vast distances until the prey tires out, allowing the humans to get the upper hand. Many of the closely related species may have followed suit. So what would even prompt a cursorial hominid, as umas are known for their running lifestyle? The answer is obviously predation. The ancestors of umas will be placed in Pleistocene Asia, specifically the mammoth steppe. The lack of cover to hide from predators like Homotherium, and just like most animals on the steppe, forced the evolution of longer limbs and a digitigrade stance. With less slow twitch muscle fibers, this ruins their endurance, but on the steppe, to outrun a predator who can only have a short burst of speed is to live to see another day. Their cursorial lifestyle will hinder their intelligence, as they wouldn't need it as much. As in nature, intelligence is actually a detriment for a species to evolve due to how many nutrients it needs, although umas would still use tools if they need to when it comes to some situations like hunting or foraging for some foods. Umas have a very odd trait in the games, which is that they are a single-sex species. This does show up in nature with the comically named lesbian lizards. However, these lizards are practically dating themselves as they reproduce through parthenogenesis, which means they can reproduce without a mate, as they basically make a carbon copy of themselves. This is impossible for mammals because of the existence of chemical tags that require both parents to be present, or else the baby will die. To evolve to remove these tags will take millions of years, which they don't have. So the only viable option is to make them instead a gender-preferred species, with one sex being more dominant over the other in genetics and social system. Due to the conditions of the steppe, the ancestral umas will have to work together to survive to gain resources, as the resources are quite scarce on the steppe. The social system would align with the spotted hyenas of Africa. Being fission fusion societies, females are far superior over males, being stronger and larger than males. This would be how umas would be like. Females are far larger than the males. The females would do most of the hunting and foraging, while the males would take care of the group's young, potentially gaining a polyandrous system, where females mate with multiple males. Due to the system in genetics, the female sex would be far more common than the male sex, as the species would want their children to gain a higher status in the hierarchy. In the Pleistocene Asian steppe, the umas would feed on anything they can get: grasses, shrubs, roots, and tubers. However, it would primarily feed on meat to support their energy-costing lifestyle, including their brain, chasing down their prey in short bursts. Their prey would be a lot of the fauna on the steppe. They might prefer the speedy prey like the saga antelope, but might try out larger fauna like reindeer and muskox by tag-teaming them to the ground. They would live in groups of 7 to 10, primarily consisting of females, and they would have a few males that the females would mate with multiple times. Umas would be preyed on by animals that could potentially catch them, like Homotherium and cave hyenas. In the mammoth steppe, Umas would evolve as they settled in the steppe as their previous hominid ancestors were migrating. They would gain the adaptations I mentioned before, and it would stay normal until the arrival of a new face. 6 to 500,000 years ago, Homo sapiens. They would come from Africa and begun to hybridize with Umas due to their very close relation. This hybridization caused a few changes in the biology of Umas. Uma male sex genes started to disappear and Uma height began to shrink. In modern times, Umas and humans have hybridized to the point that the genetic differences have begun to disappear. This is proven by some dialogue from Agnes Takon, who's trying to find the genetic differences between humans and Umas. And the fact that humans, if they reproduce, can make female Umas with a chance, meaning that Uma DNA fully integrated themselves into human DNA as a very common mutation that often happens. They would also have probably extended lifespans due to the human genes. I am not giving them the elf lifespan. That's nearly impossible for any mammal on our planet. Umas would appear through history due to the fact of the hybridization in the past. They would appear from cave paintings of early Homo sapiens to tales from the Egyptians. Umas would also be the inspiration of many myths, including minotaurs and centaurs. So that's my take on a speculative biological Uma. As you can see, there's many notable things that are different from the canon Umas, such as they are a preferred sex species before being hybridized into just being a single sex mutation. Their ears are on the side of their head, digitigrade stance, and they have no tails. These changes were made due to the short time frame in evolution they had, and because some of these adaptations, like the re-evolution of the tail, is impossible due to the fact that the divergence of apes and monkeys was many millions of years ago, meaning the tail to re-emerge is purely impossible. Sorry for how long this video took me. It was a lot of research I had to do while being busy with exams. Luckily, exams are finished, which means I can start posting weekly videos, which is a schedule I always wanted to try out, as it makes my life more productive. Also, I think the best way to end this video is to reveal their genus name, Homo equitus, meaning man horse. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Connor, out.